Let's go down to Oklahoma and talk to Dale.
Hi, Jesse. How are you?
All is well, sir. How are you?
Just fine, thanks. Hey, I was just wondering, the blacks said that slavery is the reason for a lot of their problems, and they resent the white because of it. My question is, during World War II, when Hitler had all the Jews in the concentration camps, and we all know they were treated probably worse than any slave.
Absolutely.
But how come the Jews don't still resent the Germans, as the blacks do the whites today?
Very good question. Well, what happened after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, the Jesse Jackson and the so-called other civil rights leaders who were a part of that, they took over, and they took a message of forgiveness and love and family and freedom, and they turned it into hate. And from that point, they perverted Dr. King's message that you should forgive because your freedom come in forgiveness and not in hating. And they told blacks that they should hate by making blacks believe that the white people were against them and they couldn't make it. And they've been preaching the message of hate for the last 50 years or so. And a lot of black people believe that lie. And they don't have their fathers in their homes because the government is the daddy. And it's hard for them to see that white people are not holding them back, that it's their anger that's holding them back because they're listening to corrupt black preachers. Most of the black preachers are not called by God either. They've been called by their mama. It's hard to find a black preacher who has truly been called by God. But they have been brainwashed by their physical leadership. And this is why they shouldn't have leaders. But it's not white folks. White folks are not thinking about holding black people down. It's the black leaders who are doing it.
That's true. But that's really, it's a shame because, just look at all the beautiful relationships that could be.
Yes.
And they're making, I don't know, it's just like they've made fools out of them or something.
They have made fools out of them. That's why black Americans look foolish when they are out there complaining and begging for government support and trying to take the white man's stuff. They look foolish. This is why I want white Americans to start speaking up and telling black people the truth and not be afraid because they need to hear the truth. It's the truth that's going to make them free. Dale, are you afraid to tell black people the truth?
Yeah, because they're angry, it causes a conflict,
What type of conflict does it cause?
Well, they just want to jump ugly with you, and I don't know.
Are you married?
I'm divorced.
When you were married, were you afraid to tell your wife the truth? I'm sure she didn't like hearing the truth about herself all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's a good point.
And she would jump ugly when you tried to tell her the truth about herself, right?
Oh, yeah.
So were you afraid to tell her the truth?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, no wonder she left you.
Well, that's probably true.
And what were you afraid of, Dale?
Oh, it's just a thing where you just try to go along to get along.
I know, but that's not the way a man should live. Women hate men like that.
I know, but I didn't know that at the time.
And that's one of the reasons another reason that black people hate white people because, and not all blacks, but most, they know that white people are afraid to tell them the truth. And so being afraid, you bring out the worst in them. They're already angry because their mothers and grandmothers have screwed their lives up. And then they're angry at white people because they listen to these false so-called leaders. And then they're angry at white people because white people are afraid to tell the truth. So when you're afraid, you bring out the worst in a person.
That is really true. They're angry at the whites because they won't tell them the truth?
Absolutely. Even your kids would be angry at you if you were not telling them the truth. Be strong and patient and be honest. They would resent you for not telling the truth.
Secretly, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes sense.
And so that's why I've been telling white people, you got to tell the truth. You're making the situation worse. Are you a Christian?
Yes, I am.
I knew you were going to say that. How can you be a Christian and have fear?
Well, I guess I'm a Christian that's not like you as far as, you've been saved.
And so you're a Christian who has not been saved?
Yeah.
Oh, would you like to be saved?
Yeah.
Forgive your mother for what she's done to you, and you shall be saved.
Now, how do you do that?
Realize that she was just crazy and couldn't help herself. She wanted to love you in the right way. She wanted to be patient. She didn't want to hate your father.
But how do you actually do that? I mean, you can say it to yourself or whatever, and if you don't really mean it, it's not gonna. I mean,
that's right. You could say it until the cows come home, but if you don't mean it, nothing's gonna happen. And because saying it is not what changes, you gotta see that you do resent her and face that without denying it. Then it would change for you. It's a spirit that's made a home inside of you. You become like what you hate. And so by resenting her, you're taking on her identity. And that's why you're subject to women who are just like mama. And once you get them, because they have the same spirit that your mother has, you can't deal with them because you haven't learned how to deal with your mother. And you will never be able to deal with your mother until you can forgive her for what she's done to you. And then God would take that identity away from you, your mother's spirit away from you, and give you his identity, which should have been the identity of your father. But your mother screwed him up as well. And he didn't know how to deal with women. So that's why he wasn't there to protect you from your mother, because he ended up either marrying or living with his mother. He was attracted to the person that he hates. And when you forgive her by realizing that you do resent her, then God will forgive you. Don't ask your mother to forgive you. God will forgive you, because most people will not forgive you when you ask them to, because they see it, their ego causes them to see it as a way of controlling you. They love having that power over you. And when you resent someone, they do control you. Do you see what I'm saying here?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But my question is that if you still resent her, you can't. It's hard to forgive her. I mean, because that feeling. I don't really know how to explain that.
I understand. It's like the feeling is who you are. It's made a home in you. It's like your nature. But here's what it is. Have you ever done anything to someone, or you did something and you really didn't want to do it, and after you did it, you realize, wow, that was stupid. I would never do that again. I can't believe that I did that. And then after a while, you find yourself doing it again, and you can't believe you're repeating the same thing that you hate doing. And it's like something else is driving you. You're not in control, but something is driving you to do it.
Uh-huh.
Your mother has that same spirit. And you wouldn't want someone to hate you for not being in control of your life, would you? Doing stuff that you really don't want to do is like something making you do it. You wouldn't want to be hated for that, right?
No.
Well, your mother feels the same way. She has that same spirit. And the things that she's done to you, she didn't want to do, but she was set up by her mother, and she just doesn't know how to overcome it. She can't help herself. And if you can understand that about yourself, it will help you to understand it about your mother. Give me one thing that you resent your mother for, and you wish you could get over.
I don't know if I can think of one thing. It's just that, there was a big family, 7 of us, and, she would, I know she was frustrated with us kids because we were kids, and
yeah.
She would tell us she hated us, and,
yeah. Yeah, that's a big deal. Your mother saying that I hate you. Kids can't handle that. See, what it is not in the nature of mothers to raise children by themselves. The power is in the father. The mother's like the vice president to the husband. She's the helper. And she's supposed to say to you kids, if you don't cut it out, I'm going to let your father know. And he would deal with it. And that would have been what love is. But because she didn't love her husband, she hated him for his weakness, she wasn't able to operate in that order. I assume they were married, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she ended up marrying a man that was weak, that didn't know how to deal with her. But I'm sorry?
Yeah, he was weak.
Yeah. But he couldn't help himself either, Dale, because his mother took away his courage by being impatient with him while he was growing up and turning him away from his father. So far what I'm saying is true about this resentment that you have. Right now you see that you have this resentment, right?
Yes, I do.
Now, if you want to be saved, here's the key to it. Now that you see it, you got to go to your mother and apologize to her for resenting her. You say, you know what, Mom? I resented you because I can remember when we were kids, you would say that you hated us, you didn't want to be bothered, you were impatient, and I'm just throwing out things. Whatever it is that comes to you, you need to tell her about it, because those are the things that you resented her for. Just say, Mom, I realize now that you couldn't help yourself because I become just like you, and I know I can't help myself, so you must not been able to help yourself, and I'm sorry for hating you for it. And when you apologize for hating her, resenting her, in that moment, God will forgive you and set you free, and you shall be born again. Because you're overcoming the spirit of mama, and you're taking on the spirit of God, which is perfect love.
Okay.
You're going to shake in your boots because she may have a hissy fit, and she may not. Don't plan what you're going to say. Wait until you get in the moment and let the words come out. Don't plan it. Don't get in your head about it. But look for that moment to talk to her and be straight up honest with her. If she cry, if she, get angry, just look at her as though you're looking at a movie or something, and don't overreact. Just say, because she may go into all kind of reactions to try to deny that she's done this to you. And she may say, oh, I'm taking care of you. I'm doing all I could. Your dad was not there. He's not good. She's doing everything to deny that she was wrong. And all you have to do is just say, Mom, I just came to let you know I'm sorry for hating you. I didn't realize that you couldn't help yourself. And do not ask her to forgive you. If she has any decency in her at all, she would forgive you. She will forgive you. If not, that's not your problem.
That's not the important part, then.
No, the important is that you forgive her so that God can forgive you.
Okay.
As you forgive others, I will forgive you. In the Lord's Prayer, it said, forgive me my trespasses, right? As I forgive others. This is all happening in your spirit. It's not just happening with words. You apologize with words, but your spirit is being changed spiritually as this is happening. And then you can know what salvation is like. I do want to say that not all, but most men and women, problems are not with their fathers, it's with the mothers. But they have been deceived to believe that it's the father. It's with the mothers. And most people hate their fathers with their mother's hate, and they think that is their own. That's not a put down. I'm talking about people, period, men and women. There are cases where it is with the father, but most of the time it's with the mother. And they feel so guilty, they won't look and see that they really do hate their mothers. And the mothers act like victims. And so when you resent them, it's hard to be honest with them while you're resenting them. And if you want to be free, you got to deal with that, and so that God can forgive you. I love the way God set it up where as you forgive, I will forgive you. And as Dale said, you can't just do it in words. You got to do it in spirit.